Okay, so Taylor Swift just dropped a track that has everyone talking, and trust me, when I say this, the internet is absolutely losing its mind right now because the target of her lyrics is someone we did not see coming. Or maybe we did, but nobody wanted to say it out loud until now. So here's what happened. Swift releases her new album called The Life of a Showgirl, and buried in there is this song called Opalite. And before you click away, let me tell you why this matters, because Taylor herself admitted in interviews that this song is about Travis Kelce, her current boyfriend, which already makes it interesting, right? But then you listen to the actual lyrics and boom, there's this line that goes, "She was in her phone and you were just a pose." And suddenly everyone's connecting the dots because who exactly is she talking about here? Now, I've been following this drama since it started, and honestly, the way this whole thing unfolded is absolutely wild because Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend Kayla Nicole just responded, and her response is actually kind of genius when you think about it, but we'll get to that in a second because first you need to understand the full context of what's really going on behind the scenes here. So, Kayla and Travis dated on and off for 5 years, starting back in 2017, and during that time, they were everywhere together. I'm talking red carpets, social media posts, the whole 9 yards. They were that firm until suddenly they didn't. Fast forward to now, and Travis is dating literally one of the biggest pop stars on the planet, Taylor Swift. And ever since that relationship went public, people have been watching Kayla's every move, waiting to see how she'd react. And honestly, some people have been pretty brutal about it, accusing her of trying to stay relevant by bringing up Travis in interviews, which seems kind of unfair if you ask me, because the woman is literally asked about him constantly. But here's where it gets really interesting, and this is the part that made me go, wait, what? Because just hours after Taylor's album dropped on Friday, Kayla posted something on her Instagram story that has everyone convinced she's clapping back at Swift without actually saying anything directly. She reposted this clip from America's Next Top Model where Tyra Banks asks Eva Marcille, "How do you compare yourself to the other girls out there?" And Eva responds with, "I don't compare myself to other girls. I'm Eva. I'm no comparison to anyone else." And look, I don't know about you, but that timing seems pretty deliberate, right? Like the album drops and within hours she's posting about not comparing herself to other women, which is either the wildest coincidence ever or she's sending a message. Now let me break down what Taylor actually said in this song because the lyrics are pretty specific, and once you hear them with the context of that old video of Travis and Kayla, you'll understand why people are freaking out about this. The line goes, "You couldn't understand it, why you felt alone. You were in it for real, she was in her phone, and you were just a pose." And okay, so at first you're thinking, maybe this could be about anyone, right? But then people started digging and they found this resurfaced video of Travis literally calling out Kayla for being on her phone too much when they were together. In the video, Travis looks genuinely annoyed, and Kayla actually responded back saying she wouldn't have to seek validation from strangers on the internet if he paid more attention to her, which honestly kind of proves Taylor's point about him feeling alone in the relationship, doesn't it? But also shows that there were real issues between them that neither person was handling perfectly. So when Taylor sings "She was in her phone," it's pretty clear she's referencing that exact moment and that exact dynamic between Travis and Kayla. And the line about "you were just a pose," it seems to be calling out how they were always doing these public appearances and red carpet moments, but maybe the relationship wasn't as real as it looked from the outside. Now, here's what I find fascinating about all of this and why I think this goes deeper than just typical celebrity drama. Because Taylor Swift has built her entire career on writing songs about her relationships and her exes. And everyone knows this, right? Like it's literally her brand at this point. But what's different here is that she's not writing about her own ex, she's writing about her current boyfriend's ex, which is a whole different level of messy if we're being honest. Think about it for a second. Taylor is essentially telling Kayla's side of the story from Travis's perspective and making judgments about a relationship she wasn't even part of. And whether you think those judgments are fair or not, you have to admit that's a pretty bold move, especially when you're dealing with someone who has their own platform and their own voice to respond. And Kayla did respond, but she did it in the smartest way possible, because instead of getting into a back-and-forth drama fest on social media or giving some emotional interview where she's crying about Taylor Swift coming after her, she posted that America's Next Top Model clip basically saying, I don't even play that comparison game. And then she went to this dinner event celebrating iconic girlfriends from TV and film and posted about it looking absolutely stunning in this brown silk dress with a halter neckline. She wrote, "What an honor to share a table with some of the most iconic girlfriends of all time, women whose art has been a mirror and a reminder of what's possible at every stage of my womanhood." And the whole vibe of her posts was very much, I'm thriving, I'm surrounded by powerful women, and I'm focused on my own journey, which honestly is probably the best response she could have given because it doesn't give Taylor any more ammunition and it doesn't make her look bitter or jealous. But wait, there's more, because Kayla also reposted another meme on her Instagram story that said, "And when God gives you ball, ball," which is this informal phrase that means to have courage or boldness or audacity. And posting that right after Taylor's album drops is basically her way of saying, yeah, I see what you did there, and I'm gonna keep doing me regardless. Now let's talk about the bigger picture here, because I think there's something really important happening that goes beyond just this one situation, and it's about how we treat women in the public eye, especially when they're connected to the same man. Ever since Travis and Taylor went public, people have been pitting Kayla against Taylor, comparing their looks, their careers, their relevance, their everything. And it's exhausting to watch. Because why do we always do this? Why do we always make women compete against each other instead of recognizing that they're two completely different people with two completely different lives? Travis dated Kayla for 5 years. That's a significant chunk of time, and clearly there were real feelings there and real problems there. And now he's dating Taylor, and that's also real and also valid, and both of these relationships can exist in his history without one of them being the villain and the other one being the hero. But of course, the internet doesn't work that way, and people have been brutal toward Kayla ever since Travis and Taylor got together, accusing her of clout chasing every time she mentions him, even though, again, she's literally asked about him all the time because she dated him for 5 years. She even addressed this directly, saying, "Life handed me lemons and I made a lemon martini out of it, and that upsets people," which is such a perfect way to describe the situation because she's not sitting around moping about her ex dating Taylor Swift. She's literally hosting her own podcast called Pre-Game with Kayla Nicole and building her own brand and living her own life. Now, I want to be clear about something because I think this is important. Taylor Swift has not publicly confirmed that the Opalite song is specifically about Kayla Nicole, even though she has said the song is about Travis. And Kayla hasn't issued any direct statement addressing the speculation either. So technically, we're all reading between the lines here based on the lyrics and the timing and the context. But come on, we all know what's happening here, right? Like, the lyrics are too specific and the timing of Kayla's response is too perfect for this to just be a coincidence. And honestly, I think both women are handling this in their own ways, and neither approach is necessarily wrong. Taylor is doing what she's always done, which is processing her experiences and her boyfriend's experiences through music and using her art to tell stories. And Kayla is doing what she needs to do, which is maintaining her dignity and her sense of self while being dragged into drama she didn't ask for. Here's what really gets me, though, and this is where I start to have some questions about the whole thing. Because if Travis felt alone in his relationship with Kayla because she was on her phone too much, did he communicate that to her in a real way beyond just making comments and videos that ended up on the internet? And if Kayla felt like she needed validation from strangers on the internet because Travis wasn't paying attention to her, were there deeper issues in the relationship that had nothing to do with phones or social media? Relationships break down for complicated reasons, and it's rarely as simple as one person was on their phone too much or one person didn't pay enough attention. There's usually layers and layers of stuff happening beneath the surface that outsiders never see. So for Taylor to sum up their relationship in a few lines about phones and poses feels a little reductive to me, even though I understand that's how songwriting works. You have to condense complex emotions into digestible lyrics that people can relate to. What I keep thinking about is how Kayla must feel hearing herself reduced to a negative character in someone else's love story.
Because that's essentially what's happening here, right? Taylor is positioning herself as the real, authentic girlfriend who actually connects with Travis on a deeper level, while Kayla was just superficial and distracted and fake. And whether that's true or not, it's got a sting to have millions of people hearing that narrative and accepting it as fact. And before anyone comes at me saying I'm hating on Taylor, I'm not. I actually think she's incredibly talented, and I understand why she writes the way she does. I'm just saying it's complicated, and there are real human beings involved who have real feelings and real histories that can't always be captured accurately in a 3-minute song. The whole situation also makes me think about Travis and how he's navigating all of this, because he's kind of caught in the middle, right? His current girlfriend just released a song that appears to trash his ex-girlfriend who he dated for 5 years, and his ex-girlfriend is now posting cryptic responses on social media that everyone is analyzing. But what I appreciate about Kayla's response, though, is that she's not trying to fight fire with fire. She's not releasing her own diss